Hey guys, in this video we're going to get our HTML templates set up. Now we're going to do a little bit of cheating because this Ink framework actually gives us some really nice, I guess, boilerplates or starter templates that we can use, and we're not going to have to do a lot of the markup manually. So what we're going to do is go to the Ink website, and we are going to go to Cookbook. And this gives you a whole bunch of options to start with. Alright, now the one that we want is going to be this right here, this carousel. Alright, so if we want to look at an example of it, this is what it looks like. Alright, we have the slider or the navigation down here. This one also has its own navigation. And then this bottom one is a carousel, or just a big slideshow, and the image should load in a second. These images are coming from Lorem Pixel, which is just a free image site, so they're taking quite a bit to load up. But we're not going to be using this. Well, we are going to be using this, but we're not going to have it this big. It's going to be in about half the size of this. Alright, so what we'll do is go back and click on source, and this is the HTML for our HTML template. Now there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of JavaScript, there's a lot of referencing to JavaScript files and CSS files, and everything here is pretty much done through the CDN links. Okay, so you can see all these scripts here are being loaded from cdn.ink.sapo or sapo. So we're going to keep it that way so we don't have to include them all locally, and we're just going to copy that. And then I have an empty folder called wp-news_html, and we're going to create an index file here. Index.html, and let's open that up with Sublime. And then we're just going to paste everything that we just copied. Okay, then we'll save that, and let's open that up, and there we go. So we have a lot of the work is already done for us. Now we are going to want a header, okay, because this doesn't have any kind of header or menu. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go into our HTML. Let's change the title here to WP News Template, and we can also get rid of a bunch of stuff. I want this to be as short as possible, so let's get rid of things like the description, meta, author. It is a responsive website, so we have the viewport, things like that. So I am going to keep that stuff. Down here we have links to icons and favicons, which you could get rid of, but I'm just going to keep it. And then this CSS files, these are being loaded from the CDN. We can get rid of this. We can get rid of this here. I'm not interested in that. These are JavaScript files loaded from the CDN. Some styling. I'm not exactly sure why they put this here, but we'll just leave it. We can get rid of these. Anything that's in comments. And we'll just shrink this up a little bit. Alright, you want to keep this. This is the navigation. And you want to keep all these carousel script tags. And yeah, that should be good. So let's go ahead and add the header. We're going to go up to the top, right under the body tag, and we're going to put in a header tag. We're going to give it a class of Ink Grid. Okay, we want to use the grid system, and then we're going to have a div with the class of vertical space. And then we're going to have a panel. Alright, a panel is basically this right here, this white background with the border. Alright, we want it to be in a panel. And then we're going to have an H1. This will be the site name. For now, let's just say WP News. And then we'll open up some small tags, and that's where the tagline or the description will go. We'll say another WordPress website. And this will be dynamic when we actually create the template. Under that, we're going to have our navigation. So we're going to say nav. Give it a class of inc-navigation. And then inside there, we'll have our UL. We're also going to give that a class. I'm going to give it a class of menu, horizontal, and black. Okay, and then we have our LIs. This will have a class of active. Okay, very similar to Bootstrap. And this will just go to nothing for now. Actually, no, it'll go to index.html. And let me just indent this a little bit. All right, let's copy this. Just put some other links in here. They'll say about, and let's say blog. All right, so let's save that and see what it looks like. All right, so that's what we want. We have our header, tagline, and menu. Now under that, we're going to want another panel with a search bar. All right, so let's go right below the header, and let's put in a form with the class of IncGrid. And then we're going to have a div with the class of IncGrid. Inside that, we'll have a panel. Okay, in the panel, we're going to have a div with a couple classes, control group, and also append button. Alright, and then in here we'll have another div, give it a class of control, and then all dash 100. Okay, we want to take 100% of the width. And then we'll have an input, text input, and let's give it a name of S, and let's give it a placeholder. Okay, so let's indent this a little bit. Okay, take a look. Alright, so that's short. I want it to extend all the way across. Oh, you know what the issue is? This form shouldn't be IncGrid. It should actually be IncForm. There we go. Okay, so that looks good. Now, this down here, we're going to put this into half of a call or half a div, and then have the popular posts on the other half. And I also want to put that right here in the middle of these two. Okay, so bear with me. I'm just going to go down to right here. This is where we have the big... Is that it? No, that's not it. Right here. Yeah, so let's go from this div down to, let's see, where does this end? Right here, this div, I believe. Nope, this div. Actually, you know what? Let's click on it and then it'll show me which one it ends at. Okay, so it's this one. So we're going to cut that out. And then we want to be in between these two. Okay, so we want to be in here. Which I believe is right here. Let's do a test. Yep, okay. So before I paste it in, we're going to add some of our own markup. Okay, we're going to give this a class of ink grid. Let's give it a class of panel as well. Okay, and then inside there we're going to create a class of column group. And inside there we want to have two, if we were using Bootstrap, it would be two 6-column divs, but they do it a little different. They do it by, I guess, percentage. We're going to want two 50% divs, so half and half. The way that we do that is we use a class called all-50. All right, and all-100 would be across the whole page. So we want all 50 there, and then we want another one. This is how the grid system works for ink. It's a little different than Bootstrap. All right, so let's say test 1, test 2, and there we go. You see how this one has this side, this one is this side. So we want the slider or the carousel to be in this one. So let's put an H2 here, and we'll say featured stories. All right, and then I'm going to paste what I copied down below. Okay, so we got this. Oh, actually, you know what? We don't need this div with the panel vertical space because we have that panel up there. So let's get that out of there and get that out. Okay, and then we're just going to tab these over. Okay, so let's just see what that gives us. We'll save it. Okay, so you can see we get the featured stories. It takes a minute for the images to load. It won't be like that when we create our WordPress theme, because the images won't be coming from some remote place. They'll be in our WordPress site. All right. So we got a little slideshow here. So this side will be the popular stories. So let's go ahead and add that. That's going to be in the other all 50 div, which is right here. We'll put an H2 here. All right, now the markup we can actually get from the ink site, I believe. Yeah, I want, see how this article page, we want this part here on the right. So let's look at the source. And let's see if we can find where that is. I believe it's this. Nope, it's this right here, this half gutters. So what we want to do is grab this UL right under the related heading. So we'll go ahead and copy that, and then we're going to paste that right here. All right, let's see what that looks like. Awesome. Okay, we're not going to need that many. Let's get rid of 2 of those. There we go. Alright, so I think that that's pretty much it for the HTML. Now we just need to turn this into a WordPress theme. We're going to end up doing the inner pages, the single pages, and that from within the theme itself, as opposed to in this HTML template. Alright, so we'll start to work on the WordPress theme next.